Now, ever since I posted the video of the Audi A3, a lot of you have been messaging me and contacting me for reviewing the Mercedes A-Class. And in this video, we're going to do exactly that. When Mercedes announced the A-Class, a lot of people were skeptical of the idea of a luxury hatchback, thinking it won't be that successful. But the A-Class went ahead to prove all of them wrong. It was in fact so successful in India that Mercedes even decided to bring in the Edition 1 to India, which is this car right here. It's the Mercedes A180 Edition 1. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the design, the features, the practicality, which means where the storage cubbies are and how big they are, the comfort, and last but not the least, the driving experience of this Mercedes A-Class Edition 1. So stick with me till the end of this video. The Mercedes A-Class has a very curvaceous design, yet the lines and angles of this car give it a little bit aggressive look too, which I think is in the favor of the A-Class. Now, being a Mercedes, we obviously get two Mercedes logos in the front. One is on the top of the hood and one is in the grille, as you can see over here, which is surrounded by 4 individual slats given 2 on each side. And they also have this chrome treatment, which I think gives this car a nice little treatment. But over on the headlamps, if we see over here, we have a projector headlamp setup, which is nice and expected from a luxury hatchback. But if you look from far behind, it seems as if there's only one strip which is for the DRLs, and those DRLs can actually act as the indicators. But when you come up close to the car, that's when you actually find the difference, that there are 2 strips over here. The bottom one over here is for the DRLs and the top part is for the indicators, which is something a lot of people might not notice, but here at Garage Reviews, we look at each and every single detail. But anyways, coming to the side profile of this car, if you look at the alloy wheels, we get 17-inch graphite colored alloy wheels in this car. But do take in consideration that any other normal Mercedes A-Class won't get these alloy wheels. They have normal, very simple designed alloy wheels. But as this is the Edition 1, that is the reason why we get these sporty alloy wheels in this car. Anyways, moving back behind over here, we get piano finished black ORVMs in this car, but this is also an addition to the Edition 1 in this car. If you look at any other normal Mercedes A-Class, they get body colored ORVMs. Also, an Edition 1 thing that we get in this car is the side skirts of this car, which have the Edition 1 decal. Also, one thing that I like in this car is that we also have a mid-sized sunroof. Now, the reason why I say mid-size sunroof is because Mercedes actually calls this a panoramic sunroof. And a panoramic sunroof is a sunroof which is extended to the rear seats as well. But if you look at this car in reality, although it's true that the sunroof does extend beyond the front seats, but it doesn't extend all the way to the rear seats. Have a look in this cinematic right now, you'll know what I'm talking about. Now, the back of the Mercedes A180 Edition 1 is like any other hatchback. It's very simply designed. We have the A180 badging over here, the Mercedes logo in the middle, and the CDI badging over there depicting that it has a diesel engine inside. Other than that, the tail lamps are very simply designed. They integrate with the car really well. We get the third brake light over here, and we also have a rear wiper in this car, which is a standard in all hatchbacks. Now, starting up with the features of the Mercedes A-Class Edition 1, I've already told you about the sunroof in the exterior of this car. In the exterior, there is one other feature that I want to talk about, and that is related to the tires of this car. So these tires that you see right over here are actually run flat tires. Yes, that's right, run flat tires are as standard in the Mercedes A-Class, which I think is a pretty cool kind of a feature of the Mercedes A-Class. And essentially what happens in run flat tires is that even if you get a flat tire or a punctured tire in your Mercedes A-Class, you can actually still drive this car up to a distance of 50 kilometers to find a gas station or a mechanic's shop so that you can get your tires fixed. Now, if you have liked this video so far and you are interested in such detailed reviews, the main USP of our channel is to provide such detailed reviews of every car we review. So I think pressing that red subscribe button would be a great opinion so that you don't miss out on any of our further videos. And with that said, I won't keep you from the remaining part of the video. Let's continue. So moving inside the car, I actually want to talk about the steering wheel in this car. It's a beautiful leather wrapped steering wheel with a great fit and finish. It's a multifunction steering wheel. Obviously we have these buttons for controlling the in-gauge display in this car, which actually I have reviewed in depth in the Mercedes SLK 350 video that I've already done on this channel, and you can find a link to that video in the description down below. Go ahead if you want to look at the detailed review of this display in that video. Over on this part over here we have buttons for controlling the infotainment display in this car, which we will be talking about in just a minute. And so that's about the multifunctioning steering wheel options. If we look at over here, we also have two stalks. One is for the cruise control. Yes, obviously we get cruise control in a Mercedes car. And over on top over here we have the stock for the wipers in this car, the indicator in this car, and over on the other side we have the gear selector knob over here, which is one of my favorite features. We also have paddle shifters in this car, which are a great thing for spirited driving. And over on this side we have the buttons for controlling the headlights of this car. Right, so talking about the infotainment display in this car, it's a fairly normal Mercedes infotainment display which you get in every Mercedes car. You can control it through this dial given right here. Anyways, right now it's in our audio settings, which is the FM, but if I move this dial up, as you can see, I can control it to disc, USB or Bluetooth, which is pretty standard. You can also choose your telephone through Bluetooth, which is once again very standard. Then we have our system settings over here, in which you can do this full screen and it will just show you the analog clock, and similarly it can also show you the consumption, that too in real time through a graph right here. But as the car is right now turned off, it's simply just showing nothing, and then you can also have the clock right there. But anyways, you can go into settings over here, in which you have your display settings. You can control the brightness, day, night and automatic. I think keeping it in automatic is a pretty good idea. Then we have our rear view camera, which can be activated by the R gear. So as soon as you pull this up right here, it will go into R and it will turn on the reverse camera. But once again, as the car is turned off, it's not doing that. And one little small fact, the reverse camera in this car is only here due to the Edition 1 package. Had this car been a normal Mercedes A-Class, the diesel variant, it wouldn't have got a rear camera, so do keep that in mind. Anyways, we have our language, pretty standard. Activate and deactivate Bluetooth. If in any case you wanted to deactivate Bluetooth, you can also do that. And then we have the factory settings of this car. Then we have display off over here, so if in any case you wanted to turn off your display, you can also do that. We are going to start the practicality with the glove box in this car, and once you open it, as you can see, it's a decent sized glove box, which is not completely rectangular. You have this cutout over here, but that's no big deal. You can still get a lot of stuff stored in this glove box. For organization, we do get a pen/pencil holder over here, along with a card holder given on the side over here. In the center console over here, once you open this, it reveals a 12-volt charging socket over here, along with a small storage cubby, which is specifically said not for smoking, so do keep that in mind. Similarly, moving back over here, once you open this, it reveals a decent sized storage cubby in which you can store a lot of stuff, and one thing I do like is that it's easily removable to clean it out. Moving back even further, it reveals two cup holders which are actually uneven, and you know that by removing this part over here. As you can see, this cup holder is actually a little bit too deep than this one, and once you remove this part over here, it acts as a storage cubby. Having a look at this center armrest over here, as you can see, once you open it, it reveals a very large storage cubby in which you can keep a lot of stuff without any problem. But once you close it, it actually acts as a adjustable storage cubby, but then the problem is when you adjust it in its fully lengthy position, as you can see, it covers up one cup holder. The door pockets of this car are also very decently sized. You have a storage cubby for keeping a bottle over here and some magazine holders over here. But when you move into the rear seats of this car, you realize there are no seat pockets over here nor on the driver's seat over there. But moving to the center console, you do get this small storage cubby for keeping your phone, etc. And you can also open this to reveal a small storage cubby along with a 12-volt charging socket. However, we do have cup holders in this car which can be revealed using this armrest over here, which can be opened like so. Last but not the least, in the rear doors you get a bottle holder over here and a very small storage cubby over there. But anyways, moving on to the most important part of our practicality session, and that has to do with the trunk. First, let's talk about opening this car's trunk, and sadly there's only one way to open this car's trunk, and that is using the button given over here. Other than that, you don't get a button on the key fob, nor is there a button inside the cabin, or at least I couldn't find any. But anyways, let's just go ahead and open this car's trunk. At first glance, the loading area is kind of small because of the tail lamps, but inside the space isn't compromised any sort of way. As you can see, it's a very large trunk area, especially for a hatchback such as this one, which kind of blows my mind away. For organization, we get hooks on either four sides of this trunk, two over here as well, for tying a net so you can tie down things inside this trunk. Overall, the trunk space is really large. But if we look at the underside over here, as you can see, there is no spare tire in this car, obviously, because I told you we have run flat tires. So you can also keep some stuff over here which you kind of want to hide from other people. And now it's time to talk about the comfort in the Mercedes A-Class. Which is one of the most important things while you're buying a car, right? I mean, you look at comfort in every single car. So this may be the most important segment of this video, so pay attention. If we look at the seats of the Mercedes A-Class, they are a combination of both leather and fabric, but it doesn't really matter because it's always a good idea to get seat covers for your car, so it doesn't matter if they're fabric or leather seats. But anyways, one thing that does bug me in this car is that they've even given fabric on the doors. Now that is something you can't cover up, and if that gets dirty, it's a problem. But still, it's a very small part fabric over there, so you really don't need to worry about that as well. But if I talk about as the actual seat material, well, sitting in these seats, they're very soft, they're very comfortable, they grip me really well. So going in a long road trip, going for a spirited drive in this car, that really won't matter. Also, being a Mercedes, you get all the seat controls over on the door over here for moving the seat back and forth, the backrest back and forth. Also, the lumbar support is given on this side over here, so you can even control the lumbar support in this car. That's pretty awesome. We're talking about seat comfort features. We also get 3 memory seats in this car. So overall, in the front seats, you're not going to have any kind of problem while you're riding in your Mercedes A-Class. But let's move on into the rear seats and have a look what the situation is back there. Right, so coming into the rear seats of the Mercedes A-Class, the first thing you notice is that I only have about an inch of legroom over in the rear seats. But then again, I'm a pretty tall person, I'm 6'1", that's why I still have at least 1 inch. That's a pretty good thing. So if anyone's like even 6'2", he can sit in this car without a problem. Also, if I talk about the headroom, well, that is about 2.5 inches of headroom. So once again, if someone even taller than me, like 6'2", was able to sit in this car, they would be able to sit without any problem. If I talk about the seat material, it's obviously same as the front seats. It's the same mixture of leather and fabric. Once again, getting seat covers would be the better choice over here, but the seat material is quite soft, same as the front ones. Once again, they grip me quite well, they're very soft, very comfortable. Going on a long road trip, even in the rear seats, won't be a big problem for an adult. Obviously for a child it would be better. Then moving into the middle seat over here, where we usually have the transmission tunnel, well, that is pretty significant in this car. I mean, I have seen bigger transmission tunnel even in Mercedes cars itself, but still you would have to keep one leg on this side and the other leg on that side. So that is one small little caveat that you would have to follow in this car. But other than that, even the middle seat experience is kind of equal to the side seat experience. You can also have someone sit in the middle seat and go for a long road trip in this car without a problem. So now in the driver's seat of the Mercedes A-Class, first of all, my favorite thing about this car is the column mounted gear selector. I mean, right now I'm on a highway, so it doesn't really matter because I'm just going to put it in D and drive it. But then when you're in a city or when you're parking the car, it makes it so easy that you just have to move your hand slightly just to change the gears, which is one of the most amazing things about this car, and I am in complete love with it. But while driving this car, I'm on a highway, just as I told you. If I talk about the visibility in this car, the A pillar, the B pillar, everything in this car is at such a good position that visibility wise there is no kind of problem in this car, which is one of the best things safety wise. And giving it a little bit of gas over here on a straight highway, it just downshifts for a moment and it just goes flying by. It's like a Mercedes, not an AMG variant. Obviously we don't expect it to go 0 to 60 in just 5 seconds, but then it's appropriately fast for a family car such as this car. So really, talking about anything in this car, talking about comfort, it's really comfortable. There are a few bumps here and there which the seats are doing a very good job to absorb it properly. I know the camera might be shaking a little bit over here, but that's because the camera has been attached directly to the chassis of the car that is on the windscreen, so that's why it's moving. But believe me when I say this, while I'm driving this car on the highway, there really isn't any kind of problem comfort wise, because the seats are doing a really good job to absorb all those bumps on the road. So overall, the driving experience in this car is really good. I don't feel there is any kind of discomfort in this car. However, I would say one thing, and one problem in this car is of the middle headrest of the rear seat. While you're driving the car, as you're seeing the IRVM, that does come in the way sort of. Although it's not that big, still it may cause some sort of problem while you're parking this car. But that's the only caveat that I see in this car. Other than that, it's a pretty good car overall in the driving experience. So if I talk about the gearbox, there is a little bit of sluggishness in this gearbox. As if I put my foot down, it takes like a second to downshift and then goes. But still, once again, talking about city driving, a family car such as the A-Class, there is no kind of problem even there. So that's pretty much it about the driving experience. Overall, I can give you my guarantee that it's a very comfortable car. City driving with your family is going to be no big deal in the Mercedes A-Class. And so, that was our detailed review of the Mercedes A180 Edition 1. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. Comment down below what we could improve on our video or what you liked about this video. Share this video as much as you can, and a subscribe to this channel would be a really great opinion. And so that was all for this video. We'll see you in the next one. Thank you.